Everyone, this is your host Saeed with Messy Girl. So today's guest is someone who's built, scaled, crashed, rebuilt, and scaled again. Monika Mikowska is the founder of Human Experience Design and co-founder of Mobee Dick. Not the movie, not the book. One of the most respected UX and UI agencies here in Poland. Over the past 13 years, she's taken Mobee Dick from an idea to a multi-million agency, building a 50-plus person team and delivering digital transformation projects for major enterprise brands. She's a top 50 most creative people in business honoree, a top 100 female entrepreneur in Poland, a longtime academic lecturer in UX design, a keynote speaker at major tech conferences, and now the creator of Growth Mindset Forum, a private space where ambitious founders confront their blind spots and level up. But what makes her different? She doesn't just design interfaces. She designs experiences for companies, for leaders, and for humans. And today we're going to be going deep into what it actually takes to build a resilient companies, powerful teams, and growth that doesn't collapse under pressure. Monika, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. What a research you did. Wow. That's interesting because I did not send you anything about me. Yeah. So FYI for all the people who are watching, he did this on his own. Thank you very much for invitation. Thank you very much for the introduction. That's me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I'm starting to get pretty good at opera research. I think I might have a career in politics after this. But coming to you, I want to start off with something fun.
We
Fingers
want
crossed.
people like you in Polish politics, you know?
If I win that, I promise you, the world is going to be upside down. So here in Poland.
You mean upside down like in the Stranger Things? Because I'm just in the middle of season 2 of Stranger Things, and there's upside down over there.
There you go. That's that reality here of Saeed winning an election here in Poland. So, Monika, I want to start off with your YouTube channel, Kanał Miłość, which literally for folks who don't speak Polish, it's channel love. I love the content there. There's a lot of energy. I just have a question. Do you have a team in the studio or was it a one-woman operation?
No, definitely it wasn't one woman operation. I was invited by Sarah. Sarah is a founder and owner of Studio 312. Studio 312 is the name of the company who is doing all those stuff. It's a podcast studio, a film studio as well. And she just invited me after me giving a talk at Internet Beta. Probably you know this talk. She reached me out and she said that she thinks that I have so much interesting things to say, and she found out that I don't have any podcast yet. So she invites me to come on over and start doing Kanał Miłość. But the name was my idea. The question you didn't ask what the name of the channel come from, so let me just skip this part.
That was going to be my next question.
Okay. So wait for it. So I just didn't want to start the podcast on my own, so I asked my best friend Hubert to join me, and we decided to talk about self-awareness, techniques, histories, how we are exploring this topic on our own, what methods, what techniques help us to change our lives. And what you have on YouTube is, let's say, season number 1.
Yes.
I'm about to start recording season number 2, and the timing of your timing of the interview and the fact that you started with this question about Kanał Miłość is very interesting, because this Friday I'm about to go back to the studio and start recording season number 2 on my own with new ideas.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so I'm super excited, I'm very excited to come back and to continue.
Can you share details on who the first guest is? Or do you have a guest at all? Or is it just you're going to be Hubert? You and Hubert are going to be talking?
First episode will be on my own.
Oh, right on.
But the next guest will be Polish. I would love to ask Polish singers, Polish, vocalists to join me on the channel and talk about who they are and how they understand
Mm.
love, which is in the title of this podcast.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, that is deep and heavy. I'm looking forward to it. If you need an intro to do that, please let me know.
You have
I think I
one.
can go
Okay.
ahead and make that connect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll use it.
yeah,
Thanks in advance. Thanks in
uh,
advance.
absolutely. I have a question for you though. Do you feel like you have jitters? Let me give you an example. So for a longest period of my life, I did not do any sales. I was a manager. So naturally, when you're managing people, you're a VP, you're doing board decks, you're, answering to the CEO, you're managing your team, you're not really selling. But the moment you go in front of a prospect and you try to sell, you have this jitter, you have this nervousness because you're not into it on a day to day. And you've had this long pause with the kind of miłość. Feel like going back? Do you have those jitters, or you kind of feel like once I'm in front of in front of the camera, in front of the microphone, that same energy comes out?
I would say that I had it back then, you know. Now it's more now it more feels like a calling, like I just need to go back there and start a new um, a new chapter with this. So no, there's more about excitement, and the joy and like this yeah, excitement. And I'm smiling right now when I'm speaking about this. So I had jitter.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had that. I was not self-confident enough back then because it was a new topic for me. For 13 years, I was running my company and I was talking only about business, how to do a company, entrepreneurship, all those topics around entrepreneurship. Also, I was known for speaking about mobile applications, designing mobile applications, UX design, and stuff like
Hmm.
this. So putting me in the environment where I should and wanted to talk about something else, which I was not famous for or known for, that was like, I
Which
can't
part?
get me,
The
yeah.
YouTube part or the miłość part?
You the topic part, self-awareness part,
Okay.
not talking about business per se, not talking about UX design, other topic, this that's super interesting
Absolutely.
because
Um,
yeah, now we come to this self-confidence, yeah, that I was, let's say,
mhm.
mm, used to entrepreneurial things and not used to speaking about let's say life or lifestyle generally. Maybe that's interesting even for myself when I'm sharing this right
Yeah.
now. But that's the truth. I was well
Mm.
known for UX, for mobile, for topics like this, but I was kind of mm, reluctant to go into some other topics.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. So,
Yeah.
talking about naming conventions, your company that you used to work for, you have Moby Dick. Where did that name come from? You seem to have a trifecta here of like the perfect selection of names. So I'm just curious where that name was. It were you the fan of the book or were you a fan of the movie? Like what exactly is the story behind that?
One of the thread of the reason why this name is the book, to be honest with you. So there was some slight inspiration from Herman Melville's novel titled Moby Dick. But back then, 2012, when we were on the second wave of mobile and companies were just started again, and especially in Poland, started to be super interested in mobile strategies. So I knew that I'm gonna start a company which will be focused on mobile design, on mobile applications. So I wanted to have this mobile Mobee thing, the still ups in the name of the company. But I wanted this name to be, catchy, or maybe easy to connect with some kind of
Mm,
hero, brand hero. We had an idea that we could call a company with a name, let's say Mobileo, Mobilizer. some kind of new word which have this part of Mobee. But when we the name come to, I don't even remember if it was my idea. No, that was the idea of my co-founder. So after one of the showers that he took in the evening or in the morning, I don't remember, he just called me and said, "Hey, I got an idea of a name. It's Mobee Dick." And I now found it great, but I just started to give a little, a tweak and upgrade of the name. So I change not Mobee, not the Y, but I change it with two E's in order to be able to say that we are hardworking like bees, So and the domain was free,
Wow.
if we could have mobeedick.com, there would be we would need to pay a lot of money to collect that kind of domain, but Moby Dick with two
Yeah.
E was free. So
Yeah.
so that's how it started,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really interesting. Really interesting. So, talking about Moby Dick, you've lived through every phase of a company: idealistic birth, which you're talking right now, at least a fraction of it, fast growth, collapse, survival, and rebirth. Which phase lies to founders the most in your experience? And why do they fall for it every time?
I would say, and you did not mention burnout, but it's also a phase which is interesting. Maybe not for the company, but for the founder of the company, But that's another part, another phase which is worth mentioning. But to stick to the phases that you've mentioned, I would say fast growth phase, And the reason why is that because it somehow it feeds the ego in the way that feels like truth. Revenue grows, the
Yeah.
team expands, recognition increases. So at the same time, founders unconsciously equate external validation with internal solidity. Yes. And scale amplifies both
Wow.
strengths and cracks. And if identity is
Yeah.
fragile, growth doesn't fix it, it magnifies it. Yeah. So
Mm.
growth triggers three powerful forces simultaneously. First is, biological. It's dopamine from progress and reward cycles.
Sure.
Yeah, it's happening. This is what many. I was not even conscious back then that it's happening. The second force is psychological, where validation reduces insecurity. Yeah, so I got it, external validation, and if I had any kind of insecurity, it was like hidden, yeah, behind this growth thing. And the third force is,
Yeah.
because of founders fall for every time, the third force is existential, because success temporarily silences deeper questions about meaning. Why are you really running this company for? And in my case, it was like, being competitive to the market, to colleagues on the market, comparing my company to the company of others, reaching the next milestones of the revenue. But the question was, why am I doing this? Yeah. But at the very beginning, when I started the company, it was super clear for me that I'm driven by the mission. I want to change the world with better mobile solutions. Yeah, I'm aiming for 3P. In Polish is 3P: piękne, proste, praktyczne. Let me translate to English. Beautiful, simple, and pragmatical. It's not 3P in English, but that was the mission that I was driven, and the reason for the birth of the company. But when you grow bigger, you ask yourself, okay, so what I can do next? I remember it in 2018. I would say that I had a feeling that I reached everything that I wanted, and also I fulfilled my dream with this company. It could be visible in our portfolio. In portfolio, we had a projects that I was dreaming that I could have. Yeah, for example, we had in portfolio cooperation with MPEAK, and we designed for them
Oh wow.
MPEAK Go, and applications for audiobooks and ebooks. And when I learned that my older daughter is using it, and she was not even aware that her mommy just, have a company that designed this specific application, it was for me like a revelation. Wow, this is where my true dream come true of running and starting this company. So yeah, so that brings me back to the question: why are we really running this company for? Yeah, and the answer is not super obvious. Yeah, so that's the one of the reasons why
Yeah.
founders fall for it many times. Maybe not every time, but
Yeah. Yeah.
many time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think what you're saying,
I
you
could
said something which is very on. Sorry.
go ahead. Sorry, because I could elaborate
No, please go
on.
ahead.
Yeah, I could elaborate on Carrie, on ego thing. Yeah, and all the
Mm.
topics around it, and how not to fall for it, for example. Yeah, what comes to my mind right now
Yeah.
is
Do you truly
actually
believe that?
believe what.
Sorry. No. What I wanted to ask was like, what I wanted to ask was like, do you really believe that once you go through it, you will not fall for it again? Because I kind of feel like that if your why is not on point and you're internally unfulfilled, no amount of external validation is going to fix that. Sure, it might fix it temporarily, which is I give you external validation, you're like, crap, great, I feel good for an hour or two, but it's the same as like a very cheap dopamine hit. It will give you something to do for an hour or two or a day or a week, but then you need more of it. Isn't that kind of like you're putting into a cycle of a very negative thing, which is you need more and more of it, which in and of itself is a negative thing to begin with?
Yeah, true, and but mm, the other thing is that I would say the relationship with the role of the founder of the company. So you can play founder, but you are not the founder. So the other question is who you really are. Yeah, what is your attachment to the roles that you have in life? For example, being an entrepreneur, a mother, a husband, and etc. etc. But separation the role from self, it's a it's an interesting task. It's an interesting exercise to do. It doesn't for me, it wasn't overnight, but I need to give some attention and to give some times to detach myself from this role. But I believe it is a thing because you also mentioned that I'm also involved in Growth Mindset Forum and in this format, and also when I was a member of entrepreneurs organization, I was exposed to loads of entrepreneurs. And I saw it not only in my own playground and not in the mirror when looking at myself, but also, having that kind of network of entrepreneurs, that this theme is super popular. It's not only me.
Absolutely. Um, you mentioned Moby Dick. We talked about the period in which it crashes, revival, rebirth. And you said you mentioned in one of the posts, and it's mentioned on your LinkedIn, is that Moby Dick crashed after scaling to 52 people, 6 million zloty in revenue. I'm kind of interested in knowing if you could walk me through the first 72 hours or the first immediate aftermath when you realized the company was in real trouble. Were there any specific signs? And what was the very first hard decision that you had to make that had an impact with you that was everlasting?
First of all, I don't remember. Like I I I really I really I really don't, because you ask for 72 hours. If you even if you ask for, I don't know, a week or a month, I would say I literally don't remember. And just coming back to the beginning of your question, that Moby Dick crashed after that. I would not say that it was right after that. Yeah, I would say that we hit
Sure.
this was our top when we were hiring 52 people, and we were generating almost 6 million Polish zlotys only for UX, and only on Polish market, and without coding. This was also super interesting. In my case, I used not to be so proud of it, but now I really am, and I really would like to emphasize and highlight that we were not. We work in IT. We are in IT, but we are not,
Yeah.
generating revenue for coding from programming.
Yeah.
Strictly design and research services.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was. Let's say Mobee Dick crashed 2 years after reaching the top, and like an airplane catastrophe. There was no one reason, I would say. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
um, I gave some interviews, giving or sharing the details about it, but let me just sum up what I already said in public. Like, we didn't have tools. I would say the biggest thing was that we didn't have a tool to properly control our cash flow. That was the biggest
Too
thing.
many
Yeah.
parties?
Hmm?
Too many parties?
Too many parties. Yeah, that not too many parties, but we had commercial projects. We also had, NCBR, Narodowe Centrum Badań I Rozwoju,
Oh,
founding
oh
for
yeah.
other projects. So we were not looking at our finances in a predictable way, I would say. Yeah, and
Trzeba.
there were different managers, different roles in company who used their own Excels, and there were
Mm.
misalignments between those Excels. So we did not have a specific data for it. So I would say that when you are a smaller company, you can do it so looking at your finances. But when you're going on
Mm.
scale, you really need to have a good tools which you can rely on, and you understand the data not only in accounting form, accounting environment, but also for management. So learning about finances also is my own the biggest lesson. Yeah. And next thing is that you need to have the idea what to do with people who are not involved in projects, because I
Mm.
remember back then that we had at least a few people waiting for projects, and we were hoping that projects will come. But what I've learned, hope is not a strategy. So you really need to either not hire that fast people, because you believe that you will sell another project. So that's the other thing. Um yeah, but coming back, going further to the next part of your question, was that what was the first decision that I need
Yeah.
to need to make. Again, the the hardest I would say that it was that we are going to get through this, because easier it would be to give it up, I would say. Yeah, when we crashed and we were at the edge of bankruptcy, I could make the decision, okay, I'm giving it up, this is the end, and that's it. But making the decision that this is not the end, that we are going to survive, we're going to mm, stay alive, rise up from ashes, I would say that that was the hardest decision. But this is me speaking about the period, the time 3 years ago. So, and like I said, back then 3 years ago, it was like a kaleidoscope movie of action movie, which things happening super fast. So I'm sorry for
Mm.
not being able to walk you through 72
No.
hours of realizing that the company is in trouble. But also the other thing is that I don't remember if there was a specific 72 hours of my realization. It was like peeling the onion, layer by layer within a few months, not in one single
Hmm.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Fascinating stuff. If we roll back the clock a little bit and not talk about the crash and talk about the survival phase, because leading up to the crash, I'm assuming there was a time, like you said, you were hoping contracts would come, but they didn't come in. So it was a host of different reasons for why it led to where it led. So if you could talk to me about, was there something that you would recommend another founder that you did while you were in the survival phase and it really worked out for you? Or you kind of felt like you made just a bunch of different decisions and you just got lucky with how you operated? But if there was a specific technique or specific thing that you did that you could recommend to another founder that potentially or possibly could be in your position or will be, what is one thing that you would recommend?
Sales, focus on sales.
Me.
Yeah, and depending how big your team is, you need to be prepared to use different funnels, different channels of sales. Yeah, we were relying only on the brand recognition, on network, on exposition of the conferences. And back then, we also tried to introduce and start using performance marketing. That's super interesting, also about my company and yeah, and the whole history of the company. Even now, when we don't have that much exposition in the industry, and we are still attracting leads through this way of being exposed to the market, which is having a great network,
Word of mouth.
yeah, word of mouth, attending conferences, giving lectures at
Do you
conferences.
like conferences?
I do.
Interesting.
One thing that you don't know about me, maybe you did some specific research, but I used to be a hip hop dancer.
Talk to me about that more.
So I was used to going on the stage.
Uh, I mean, you have that energy about you, which is you don't have stage fright. Even in our pre-interview when you were talking, I have it. Like if you
You
were to
have
see
it.
me on, yeah, if you were to see me on a stage, you would see a stone wall. I would outperform everyone you on a stage. But what people don't realize is that I am shivering. Even when I'm recording here, when I'm asking questions, if you look closely at my shots in post interviews, you will see that I'm actually twitching. My head twitches. It's because my legs are shaking. It's that
Interesting.
nervousness it is. So
Yeah.
when I see people like you that just have, I don't know whether or not it's natural. I don't know. It's either something you have it or you don't. But I am very envious of that skill because I myself shake. Like I have that quite a lot. Like I really need like 10 minutes to get into. I can't do what you do. So that is a power in and of itself when I look at it.
You, thank you, but what drives me to do this is the connection with the people.
There you go.
Because I'm in front of. It's not me being on stage, but it's me being in front of the people. So somehow we are exchanging
Yeah.
energy. Like
Yes.
I can give something to them for it's my knowledge, it's my experience. I'm eager to share it. I'm
Yeah.
happy to share it. So this is what I give them. But what I get back is their reaction, their feedback, their
Exactly.
validation back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's what makes this exchange equal. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also a lack of fear, right? Like you have that lack of fear. Just to give you an example, I was watching one of the videos on your YouTube channel. Your intro is very it's brazen. I don't know if there's a better word that I can use, but if you, for instance, look, it's not a comparison, but just I want to show contrast. But if you look at my intros, they're very timid. They're very vanilla in the sense, right? It's because there is a fear in there, right? But the,
Wait,
the
you
fact
mean
that you
you,
have
you
that,
mean Kanal Miłość intro?
yes, exactly.
Okay.
Kind of, it's like I just don't have that skill set to be able to express myself the way you express yourself, and which is what I'm saying is that if you have that, that's power number one. And two, if you have the lack of fear, that makes you it's a unique combo and a dangerous combo in the sense that you can dominate any stage you go into because people, like you said, it's the exchange of energies. If you exhibit confidence, people detect confidence and they believe more in you because of the fact that you're depicting confidence. But you could be the subject expert in your field, but if you're not depicting confidence, people are just not going to be able to get that energy off of you, and chances of failure are a lot higher.
But you know what? And the other way as well, which is if you're not an expert, but you are super confident, you still can have people's attention, you know?
Yeah,
And it's
that's where bullshitters and conmens they make it because they're
not
so
only
confident.
not only, but let's go back to 2012, which is the
Sure.
year of beginning of Moby Dick, or even a few months earlier when I started a blog. I was a blogger. The name of the blog was jestem.mobi, jestem.mobi, which where
I
I
love the names.
yes, yeah, I just write about mobile world, you know, and I was like in Polish, I don't know what's the English word for nowicjusz, like, you know, a newbie,
Ooh,
newbie. That's the word.
I know, yeah. I was
Newbie.
gonna
Like
yes.
no one had taught me about mobile
Yeah.
UX. I was learning on the way, on the go.
Mm,
So I did not have knowledge at the very beginning, but I had this curiosity, this internal drive, and the ability to describe people in very simple words of what I've learned. Yeah, and
yeah.
that's how it goes. And this is the way I operate. I would say this is also, there is also one more ingredient needed, which is authenticity in terms of that I'm not positioning myself as an expert. Like, you know, it's not me standing in front of the people and saying, hey, I got all the knowledge of, you know, UX or self-awareness, or you pick the topic. But I'm introducing myself as a person who is interested in the field, who is eager to learn a specific topic, and I'm inviting people, hey, you can watch me, you can get inspired of looking at me when I'm learning on the way, on the go. Yeah. And as I'm consistent, as I'm determined to, you know, uh to really understand some topic, it takes some sort of time. Like, yeah, it's not overnight. For example, Moby Dick or company, or me being entrepreneurs, it took me a few years so people could watch me digging in the topic and exploring the topic within a period of a few years. Yeah. So they could learn. And I'm always super happy to share, because I really believe that the exchange of experiences, not even knowledge, but
Yeah.
experiences, it's super valuable. Yeah.
100%. I want to talk about growth mindset forum. It's limited to 9 entrepreneurs. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That is deliberately anti-scale. Could you walk me through the business model? How does this work financially, and what did you have to unlearn after you've run a 50 plus person agency?
I don't First thing is that I don't see that maybe yet as a company which is about to scale. This is a side
Why not?
business. Why not?
Because I'm
Not yet.
l-
Not yet.
not yet sure, but let's pull back a little bit, right? You talk about founders, you are one of them, and you also agree with me when I make this statement that it's very lonely at the top.
Yeah.
A lot of what people experience at the top, people like me, we can't experience, not because we don't have the knowledge, it's just because we have never lived it. So I would assume a format like that, what you're proposing, with what you're doing with the growth forum, there would be a need for a lot more people, considering we have a lot more founders, market is huge, that would want to have a forum like this where they can exchange ideas, like to exchange energy, exchange ideas, just talk about things that you normally would not be able to do with your peers.
Yeah. But also we are operating in a market that it's um, I I wouldn't say full of, but there are some options for entrepreneurs to join masterminds or forum, or even I mentioned entrepreneurs organization, where
Sure.
there is also a forum format. Yeah, so we are not the only one who is doing this, but I would say we are the only one who is doing this in such a specific way, which is not only understanding what's going on in your uh, a business, a family, and personal life, but also, you know, mm, making more, again, self-aware of what's going on, raising emotional intelligence, working with emotions, using even somatic exercises in order to
What are
make.
those?
Yeah, meditate. I run meditations during the meetings, and that's also the interesting part about it. Because when we started Growth Mindset Forum, I would never say that I am able to do this. But my co-founder Kuba asked me one time, "Can I just run a meditation?" I did, and then the other month I did again, and the next month again and again, and I started to receive a great feedback that it's working super good. So I continue to add a small, pieces of, let's say,
Sure.
somatic exercises to what we're
Mhm.
doing on a daily basis in order to process emotions which are very often heavy for entrepreneurs. For example, anger. Yeah, you
What's
there
that?
is there is a where can you safely can express and see and make yourself even aware. Start with making yourself aware with your anger, if not in a secure space of other people who are like you. Yeah, you cannot do it, or yeah, it's super hard to do it at home. You cannot do it in your work. You can do it alongside the people who are like-minded, right? But making yourself aware of this emotion is one thing, but calming yourself down and making that you leave the forum day with ease. You're more,
Yeah.
you're calmer, you're lighter. That is because of those somatic exercises, somatic adds on the traditional agenda of a forum style. That's where my let's say new skill set comes in, and how this is work. Yeah, so it's
Hmm.
more also about kind of polishing and experimenting on the format, digging deeper in the format, and creating a new value proposition for entrepreneurs,
Sure.
comparing to what we have on the market, for example, in
Yeah.
EO, YPO, and other masterminds which are
Yeah.
available on the market.
Mastermind. I don't like the term mastermind, but I understand the need behind it. Um,
Why
I
you
want to
don't
ask you
like it?
something.
Yeah, can I ask you why you
Sure.
don't?
Yeah. I just what is mastermind, right? Like generally, when you look at our term, it's kind of like I have this belief that anything that describes people, a certain group of people that have some esoteric skill set that you and I can't have, I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, because when you're defining people as masterminds, you're already putting them in an echelon of group of people that rest of us are not in. Like, I'm not in a mastermind or anything like that. But
Mhm.
that's not because, it's a group of people that have titled themselves that you're a founder. I'm not. But it's also because you have different ambitions than me. You would never be a founder if there weren't people like me willing to work for people like you and help you grow, build Moby Dick, XYZ, Apple, Amazon, whatever that company might be. So both of them kind of like these are forces that need each other. I just that when people start to coin certain terms and say, hey, this is that group of like exclusive founders and billionaires and masterminds, I'm not really a fan of that title because it makes everybody else feel like that this is an esoteric skill set group of people that only God chose and these people are there because of their achievements and whatnot. Nah, dude, it's just a group of people that are talking to each other and sharing information and skill, right? And leveling up, hopefully, for the most part. I don't know if it makes
True,
sense.
and I could add something to it, but it's not about name of the group, but it's like it's about the sense of that. the feeling of being so unique, that you are an entrepreneur and no one can understand your problems just like the other entrepreneurs. So with this feeling, with this sense of understanding the reality, which is wrong because you're literally separate yourself as the founder of the
Sure.
company from the team. Yeah, you're making this gap even more bigger, which I
Wider. Yes. Yeah.
yeah, wider. And that was my one of the revelations that, hey, what I'm doing in EO in forum is
Mm,
like we just said, I'm just, spreading this gap, which I don't want to do because I would love to be understood within the team, not only outside of my company. Yeah, so fully
100%.
agree. Yeah, so fully agree with you. And
Yeah.
this is a long conversation, yeah, but
It is. It is.
it comes back to the awareness, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Awareness, let's say company awareness, and also
Sure.
transparent
Self-awareness.
and self-awareness and transparent communication with the
Yeah. Yeah.
team. Because
Yeah.
again, I know how do I communicate with people, what I did in terms of
Sure.
communication in my company, especially within the last couple of years, sharing difficult, harsh truth, which regular entrepreneurs don't do because they
Yeah. Yeah.
they all
It's hard, right?
only
Because
it's super hard, and it's not popular because they are afraid of losing this, this ego thing,
sure.
this reputation. From my
Sure.
experiences, the more honest you are and the better communicator you are, you only winning, you're winning people's,
Always.
what you said, like working with people, yeah, that they
Yeah.
want to work with you because they value somehow the corporation, the atmosphere. I don't know. They learn from you not only in terms of what you are doing professionally, but as a human being. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I've always wanted to work for managers and people. I don't know if you agree with this term, but like back in the olden days, you would go to war, you would go to battle, and you don't, you fight for your country, you fight for your land, but most importantly, you're fighting for the king or the general that you're fighting with, right? So I've always kind of like had this feeling is that I would love to work for somebody that I would be okay going to battle with, next to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know it's a little bit of an extreme example, but if that person doesn't inspire me, doesn't bring the loyalty out in me, that is your litmus test right there and then that this is probably just a job. And that's okay if you have it. Everybody's got to work. Not every place is going to be great, but it's probably a good idea for you to go ahead and find a place that you can stand behind somebody, person, manager, CEO, whatever. And you say, you know what?
Yeah.
This guy tells me I would jump. You know what I mean? Like, ha ha, type thing, for the most
Yeah.
part. And
People walk away from managers. Yeah. People away from people. Not this is one of the reasons why people decide to quit the job. Yeah, because they are not along with the manager who is above them. Which is true to prove what you're saying. But the only thing is, yeah, is the alignment with the mission of the company, that that
sure.
yeah, you're doing something, and the colleagues, and also salary, especially in for younger employees, this financial part is important. Mm, yeah, there are loads,
Yeah.
many factors which determines
100%.
yeah.
100%. There is something I want to ask you because of your closeness and proximity to a lot of founders. Is there a limiting belief that high performing entrepreneurs cling to the longest?
Limiting belief, cling to the long.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's something connected that you need to go outside externally for new information, for new clues, new values, new tips, in order to scale, in order to grow. And that was also, and limiting belief, um the word which I have in mind is intuition, which is don't, maybe the limiting belief is don't trust fully your intuition. Ask for validation, ask for the advice, go to experts, expose yourself to other entrepreneurs, to get inspiration how to scale, for example. And in some way it is limiting belief, because
Mm.
there is a uniqueness inside of you, and your company and your
Yeah.
value which you're giving to the market is unique. So there is no other person who can grow it the way you can. But when you
Sure.
start asking other people for the advices, you can just lost this connection with your intuition, with your own tips and your own ways of exploring the market. Yeah. So relying very much on what others says, looking for some external advices, external, coaches, mentors, could be limiting. If
Sure.
it is inspiring, if it is, challenging, if used as a brainstorm, that's fine. But I've seen many entrepreneurs who are eager to hear what they should do because they are stuck and they don't know how to move on. And they are
Yeah.
literally asking experts, hey, I will pay you, but I need to know what I should do.
Mm.
And that's not the thing. I would say
Absolutely.
this is not the way. It
Yeah,
could
what would you
be,
tell a
but
founder? Sorry, go.
no, it could be the way,
Uh,
because it also, I remember, I would say 2017 was also a time when I had this idea that I would love to, let's say, professionalize my communication, and my also image in front of the um uh, top management of banks and insurances company. And I also was exposed to some experts who I decided to listen to,
sure.
and yeah, interesting experience.
Yeah, right on. Is there something you would tell a founder who is winning on paper? A lot of founders seem like that when you look at their profiles and you look at how big their companies are, how much revenue they're doing, but they're feeling empty, exhausted, or disconnected and are scared to say it out loud. Is there something you would say to them?
And the date.
That's the answer, right?
That's the answer. Yeah, meditate, breathe, do something to get yourself better. Ask the questions. Ask the question, who are you? And what, yeah, this is a very profound question. Who are you? Are you the entrepreneur, and are you all of this what comes with entrepreneurship, or are you something more? Yeah. And what is that? Yeah. What is that? So in
Yeah.
order to expand your self-awareness, meditation is the easiest way and very accessible way to do so. So yeah,
Absolutely.
meditation. That's my
Absolutely.
I never gave such an answer, so that's my first time when I'm giving such an answer to that kind of questions.
I noted it down. I got to start doing it myself.
You
um,
you're
you
not
talk a lot.
doing this. You probably you do. No, you're not.
I've never meditated a day in my life.
Why not? Because you didn't feel to.
Uh, it's probably one of the same things as why I've never had coffee or tea in my life either. I never really felt the need to have these things in my life. And here's the thing though, I kind of feel like I may be am an anomaly, but my life is pretty centered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have kids. I go to bed on time normally. I don't have anything. There's no war in my house. It's a very simple lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like there is nothing tumultuous happening. I'm not an entrepreneur. I am not a person who has people that he needs to take care of in the sense that employees.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is nothing extraordinary happening that requires extreme measures or extra things, I kind of feel like that you're pretty much in a good place. I cut my grass. I'm cleaning my car from snow and I'm okay. I walk my dog. I'm pretty grounded in my life. And it's a privilege. I'm not saying that like screw everybody, I know better. No, it's just my life is pretty simple. It's good. And I don't need a lot of the external extremities to make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe that is a simple thing is that you have shrunken so much of your own external validation aspect is that you don't really need much
Yeah.
in order to move forward in your life. So maybe meditation is a good thing. It could help me. But I don't need 2% improvement if I'm 93% already good. Do you know what I mean? Like 7% is just life happening.
Yeah.
And there will be negatives, there will be positives, there will be shitty days, there will be good days. But you just have to live through them. And I think that is a sign of a responsible, healthy adult, is that they just take life and they continue to operate with it. But if, like you described, you indeed are in a position where you're stressed out, angry, like you said, and you feel like you can't do anything, then you need to look for ways in order to do better. But my recommendation will always be, one, look back and understand what exactly is causing these problems, these symptoms, what exactly is making them appear,
Yeah.
and eliminate those one by one from your life. Because once you do that, you'll feel normal. Like, you'll feel okay. You'll feel good. I'm not saying don't exercise, don't meditate. You should do that 100% if that what makes you happy. But you also should look at the cause behind why you have to meditate so hard or work on it so hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, but definitely, totally, I agree with you. But meditation is not the tool to, let's say, calm yourself down. It's
Sure.
just to expand yourself more and, understand life more. See other, let's say, the other side, the upside down of life during meditation. Yeah.
Here's what I would say to that. There's a saying in English which I really love. It's the fool actually did it because he didn't know it was impossible. So, or ignorance is bliss type thing. I'm fine being ignorant in those cases. Like I'm happy being that idiot or fool because I didn't know it was impossible.
So meditation is not for you.
There you go. I just diagnosed it.
You can repeat the question. I will come with other answers.
No, I fully understand it. That is pretty fair enough. I do want to ask you one more question before we dig into our rapid fire round. Looking back, if you had optimized less for growth, you mentioned you were looking at different companies, how they were performing versus your company, how you were performing, and there's always that self competition that we're all looking forward to or work towards. If you had optimized less for growth and more for human experience, do you think things would have been different today? Or you can match, let's say, growth with any other thing that you were optimizing for. Would things be different today? And is that a healthy way to look at it?
As far as I remember, the human experience was always a very important ingredient. And I'm not sure if we optimized for growth. I would say growth happened to us,
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, we were just focused on human experience internally and externally. Um, Human experience in product delivery, service delivery. We were interested to serve our clients the best we can. And the same thing internally. We were focused on creating the environment to work when other people are willing to work and like to work and give recommendations to other colleagues. Hey, come to us and work in Mobee Dick. So we were optimized for human experience. Growth happened to us. But to put more focus on, if I could turn back time and do something better, I would put more focus on a structural integrity, on processes, tool in financial department.
Sure.
Mm,
One Excel for everyone to take a look at, and
yeah,
not
one Excel,
multiple.
not three. Exactly. An understanding of accounting, this is a thing that pretty much no one would like to look at, accounting, side of the business.
It's boring. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, but
depends.
it's like you need to understand this,
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. So I don't measure success in revenue. I measure success in vitality, yeah, and in this, in this healthy human experience. What do people say about working with you? Yeah. Internally and externally, what clients actually says about working with you, and what
Yeah.
your coworkers, current and former, say about working with you. That's what's important. Relationships are more important. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I think like if your footprint in life is having a positive impact, I think you're on the right path.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
I disagree with the statement that you can be gifted and be an asshole at the same time. That notion for me is just toxic. This life is too short
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
that. Cool. So rapid fire round, very quick questions, very quick answers. Best advice you've ever received, business or personal?
As advice, you said quick answer. Just do it.
Semi quick answer. Just do it. There you
Just
go.
do it.
Is that like the Shia LaBeouf thing? Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Just do it, because when I approach someone and I start to overthink the case, and the advice is just do it. That's the
Things start
best.
to become easier.
Yeah, that's the best advice that I could have.
I don't know if you've read the book. You said you have kids, so there is a book. It's a children's book, The Horse, the Mole, the Fox, and the Boy. I don't know if you know that book.
What's
It's
the
a
title in
children's book.
Polish? Can you just?
Oh my, Lis, Chłopak, Koń, and
I think
I think
I've heard of. Yeah,
it's
but
not bubr. It's like well, kret, like
Okay.
the the kretes that come out of the.
Okay.
So essentially, the premise of the book is like the boy asked the horse that, how do we go? We have to go such a long journey, and I don't see the way. All I see is trees because they're in the middle of a forest, and and I think the mole goes, "Do you see where your next step is gonna go?" He says, "Yeah, there." He says, "Take that step, and take the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that, and finally you're gonna get to your destination. So look what's in front of you."
So this is how you describe my strategy in 2023: how to get out of the crisis, one step at a time.
One step at a time. Perfect.
One step at a time. Yeah.
Just
really.
do it. Perfect.
And even if you're not in crisis, if especially now we are heading to some kind of unpredictable future, we literally cannot predict what will happen, especially in the
100%.
world. Yeah, in a month, in a week, even in a
Yeah, it's too
day.
fast.
Yeah, in a day. So focusing on making long-term plans, strategies, it's kind of waste of time. I'm not saying that you should not do this, but you should get more, be more elastic in front of plans, and focus on making one step at a time. Use this agile
100%.
method from IT, just to do one step, which is very much needed in the specific moment. Yeah.
100%. Advice you ignored or wish you had listened to.
Finances, understand your finances.
Yeah, I think that's smart. You
And
gotta look at
especially
it.
in my case, because I was exposed to to sales, which was one part of the equation. I was focused only on the incomes, only on the revenue. I was not pretty much familiar with the cost side. Yeah, because that was the part of the other co-founder. So I had, it was not an advice, but it was like someone's tapping on my back and asking, "Hey, maybe you'll take care of your finance." And I was like, "No, people are looking at it. I don't have to." Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
100%.
maybe I would not run out of the battery and wake up when there is no finances on our bank account. Maybe I would, wake up a little bit earlier and bought myself a little bit more time to react, because
100%.
I awakened in the moment when there was no money, so actually no time to so react. Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
What would you tell your younger self, say 7 to 10 years ago?
10 years ago, 10, specifically 10 years ago.
Sure, why not?
10 years ago, I would say to myself, be aware of working in your company, because I started a company, and I was working in the company, not on the company. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like,
Wow.
I was
Okay.
an employee in
I
my own company. Yeah. And I need
Damn, that is deep.
I need 6 years. Can you imagine? I needed 6 years in order to understand what is the difference in working in the company, not on the company. That's crazy.
Wow. I don't know if anybody who needs to hear it will hear it, but if they do, that is a pretty good shift. Like
Yeah.
you're not an employee, you have to work on the company to help it scale and grow. That requires two different hats and
Yeah.
skill sets, right?
And it was,
Wow.
can you admit 6 years is a pretty much long time? Yeah.
I don't judge. I mean, like it takes people a lifetime sometimes to learn a lesson, but I think the
Sure.
fact of the matter is, and the important thing is, you get there in the end.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? And you still learned it in a limited amount of time, and you still have opportunities to create new ventures where you can apply that knowledge and succeed.
Yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah, true. But I'm not, like you said, I'm not judging it if it's good or is it bad. But I learned thanks to this observation and realization, I started to
Yeah,
be an entrepreneur, and I started to learn the
exactly
craft
that.
the craft of entrepreneurship. Because
Right.
if I didn't do that, and if I would focus on only, doing projects, serving our clients, heading to conferences, that could still be fine. I would not call myself and would not feel myself as an entrepreneur if
Mm.
I were successful in that field, only serving clients, making next projects. That's fine. You can be a designer running a company and staying as a designer,
Sure.
not heading for entrepreneurial skills, and that's also fine. But if you are willing to do so, yeah, if you would like to be a founder, maybe only a founder or an investor, or you name it, you need to be aware
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah, you just because I just switched
Sure. Yeah.
within those first 6 years. I just switched the form of being hired, in the company. It was not umowa o pracę. Yeah, it was the other form, but it felt like I'm still like
Yeah.
an employee of our
Employee of the company.
clients. Yeah, no boss,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it was it was
Fair
tiring.
enough.
I would say I get myself a little bit exhausted, and after coming
Mhm.
back of some vacation, when I was working on this vacation, I realized that there is something needs to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. Is there an ongoing challenge in your current work that keeps you up at night?
A big transition in my life. Yeah. Yeah, big transition in my life because human experience design, which is the name of my company, is working on a new strategy, let's say, and
Mhm.
the challenge is not to plan a big plan, just
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
one step at a time. So I'm
Yeah.
giving
Yeah.
myself
There you go.
the same advice which we already talk about. Um,
Well, I keep my fingers crossed.
Practice.
I hope
Yeah,
it's successful.
thank you. So the practice what I preach. This is the biggest challenge. To practice what I preach.
100%. There was somebody who said that if everybody started applying the advice that they give out and dole out, the world would be a better place.
True,
So
true.
I think that that is important.
I remember there is a reel on my Instagram when Mariola from the Chodowa Firma asked me in her interview, what
Mm.
advice would I give to other entrepreneurs or someone else, and I said, don't listen to Monika Mikowska. Like, I'm not the person who is giving advice over here, really. If you have an
Yeah. The
advice,
whole interview is scrubbed.
yeah, you just no, the interview, if the interview is about sharing experiences, you can
Of
learn
course.
from the experience, because this is what's keeps me going, this growth mindset
Yeah.
forum. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
see a great value of people gathering together in order to experience share. Really,
Sure.
this is super valuable. But not giving advices is like, you can learn from my experience, you can make a decision on your own, based on what you've heard, but not based on the advice, because it's kind of taking the responsibility out of my shoulder. Yeah, because
Fair
someone
enough.
said that, so I don't need to be responsible for the decision, because there is some part of decision lying on him, if it worked for him or her, so probably it worked for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
what happens if it doesn't work for me? Yeah, who's responsible? Them? Yeah.
Then yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Your favorite restaurant, meal, or spot in Poland?
My mom's kitchen.
What does she make good?
She makes delicious rosso. I love her rosso.
Oh, the soek. Oh my god. Broth. Yes, I
No,
could have some right now in this weather.
the restaurant. I don't know. Like I don't have one really. Really,
You can have two. Don't worry.
you can have two. Very close to my new spot is Curry House. Curry House. Yeah, it's a very
Mhm.
good restaurant, and it has a few spots in Warsaw. Mm. I love Bali food.
Like
Indonesian
Indonesian?
Indonesian food,
Uh-huh.
and
I've never had it.
there are a few spots in Bali which I adore and love. I can share my Google Maps list. I have a list.
Please.
Bali food.
If this podcast doesn't work out, I'll become a food reviewer. Maybe
Yeah,
there's a future
yeah,
there.
yeah, I love it. You know, yeah, I would recommend over
Perfect.
there.
Okay, so last question. Is there a tool that you swear by and cannot live without?
Tool.
Yes, tool.
I'm thinking about 4 tools, but they are physical tools. The
Please.
first tool is yogi wheel. You know what that is?
I do not, but I'm assuming it's something to do with yoga.
Yeah, in order to open your back, you're lying on a wheel, and you can just literally open your back. The other tool is
That sounds unsafe.
no, it's super safe, really.
Okay.
The other
I
tool,
believe you.
the other tool is pranamat. Do you know what that is?
I'm assuming something to do with pranya.
I can show you. You have a second just for me to
Yes, please. Go ahead.
to grab it.
Yes, please.
So I mentioned yogi wheel, so that's the thing. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this is
Interesting.
this is the second tool.
Oh wow.
Probably
That looks like something you would have in a swimming pool.
no,
Matt.
it's not a swimming pool. There's a, how do you say, kolce?
Oh, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
you can lie on this one, and you can spend like 10 or 15 minutes in order to release all the tension on your back.
Okay. The more I see, the more I know I'm a healthy. I'm very happy.
The third tool is opaska na oczy. How do you say it? Yeah, the eye cover.
For the eye mask.
Eye mask, yeah, eye mask, because this is a tool which helps you to get inside of yourself, yeah, to cut off cut off your sight, yeah, so cut off yourself of the external environment, and look for the answers more faster and more
Within.
efficiently,
I got you.
yeah. And a mirror, that's my fourth tool. I'm not sure if you were expecting that kind of answer, but this is my list of tools.
No, this is fantastic. Pranyamat, Pascal, this is perfect. Like these are. It's better than ChatGPT. So I mean, there you go. At least these are physical things.
I didn't. Yeah, if you did not mention, I wouldn't come up with it.
There you go. Monika, this has been great. Made a lot of notes here. Got a lot of value out of it. I'm hoping people will get that too. Where can listeners find you other than Kana Miłość on YouTube?
LinkedIn, Instagram,
No.
social media. Yeah,
Okay.
you can just type in my name, Monika Mikowska, and you'll find me somewhere on the internet. I respond fast. If you have my phone number, I respond super quickly over WhatsApp.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, but the fastest
Perfect.
way would be LinkedIn or Instagram. or a personal.
Any upcoming project?
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
upcoming project. Yeah, let's a few. Um, I'm launching my mentorship program to work with
Oh, right on.
women in business one-on-one. You know, personal sessions. Also coaching and mentoring. In this forum style, and also with somatic experience, somatic exercises, and you know, uh, in a way that I do it for myself, and I know how profound this is. So I'm opening myself to share it.
We saw that.
Yeah, opening myself to share it with people. Um, Second season of Kanał Miłość.
Yes.
And if it goes well, and I believe so, there is some artistic projects on my way.
There you go.
So I'm like I said, I'm in a kind of transformation. I'm in a transformation, which means that I'm shifting from business to. If I say from business to art, it would sound super, you know, super fancy. But
No, that sounds perfect.
yeah, but I
If that's what
just
it
want
is, it is what it is.
I'm super eager of life, you know. That's why I value and recommended meditation, because it's not a tool for crisis, you know, to calm yourself down, but just to expand, to explore, and you know, to ask questions that you haven't asked yourself before. Look for new answers. So no,
Yeah.
I'm not done yet over here on this earth, you know.
Oh God. I hope not.
I'm not
And
even
I
in
hope
the
there's a lot
middle.
more.
I'm not even in the middle.
I think this is a good point to end as any. Monika, this has been super valuable. I really appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you shared. Thank you so much. And like I said, fingers crossed for all your projects. I'm hoping there is going to be a hit and successful. I think because the market really needs it. Most importantly, people really need it. So I appreciate you coming on. If you got value out of this, folks, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank
Monika.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.